You had A, B, and C. You could only buy gas. If you were A, that means you needed gas all the time because your job, what's called B, you was only, what's called, and C, every once in a while you could buy gas. This was, of course, during the war or something.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah.
Siren ring, you run.
Mm-hmm.
Go.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Remember when they used to have this the horns blare? So
Oh, yeah.
certain
It
certain
was on
numbers.
top of Center
Right next
School.
to my house.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, the old,
And
the
and
new
you had
firehouse.
You had the list, so if they went 1, 2, whatever it was. Oh, that's so it's right.
Yeah, you used to
My mother
test
we
it
used
at
to
1
get in a
o'clock
car,
every
my
day.
mother we beat the fire
The
department.
fire siren
She did
used
that
to
a
be
couple
on
times.
top
She
of
said, "We gotta
Center
stop
School.
Oh, really?
We gotta
Yeah.
go
Where
slow
Center
down.
School is now, that's where the fire horns used to be.
Wow.
The
Yep.
fire siren.
Wow.
Oh man.
And where Jody is where Skidmore used to be, you said?
Abraham Skidmore started the
Yeah.
Halloween parade.
Oh, yeah.
He used to
Wait.
be a drummer. He was colored. He came from down south somewhere, and he was a barber, and that's where Jody is now. And he started the Halloween parade, and he'd walk all around town a route beating that drum
Mm-hmm.
on Halloween. And of course, the kids would be all dressed up.
Yeah.
So, Abraham Skidmore.
What year was that, do you know?
Oh, God.
No.
I don't remember.
Probably in the 30s.
Oh, God.
No, but I
30s,
remember
40s,
hearing his name a
50s.
lot.
Yeah.
I can't remember when he died, but he.
Oh man.
Right next to where Tinger's
Yeah.
Pharmacy was.
That was a
That
pharmacy.
used to be, you probably remember, that used to be where they would make softballs.
Oh, really?
And they'd
Yeah.
be sitting all there, and my father would go in for coffee, and my brother and I would sit outside on that ledge that's still there and watch them sew the softballs.
They
boy.
sew it up by
Yep.
hand. Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
by
Our-
hand. The women would have leather things on their fingers, and they'd push those through the holes so fast, and the other ones would be spinning the balls to make them the hard, just
Yeah.
all
Baseballs.
like
I'd be in
rope or
Tinkham
something
having
in there.
coffee.
Yep, and then they'd put on the leather, and then the other ones would sew it, and
Yeah.
oh, my brother and I used to love watching that. Where the general store is right now,
A general store.
in Mattapoisett, top of the wharf.
Oh, that,
That-
used to be LeBaron's
it used to be a
ice
store-
cream place.
Oh,
That used to be our kids' hangout. In the back, they had a bunch of pinball machines.
Oh.
We used to play.
I remember when Periwinkles was down there.
oh yeah.
And right
That's
there,
about the furthest.
Next
I go
door
back.
was a
next door was
a liquor store, but what was that? The White
Next-
House.
drugstore.
Oh, that was a drug
John
store.
Kane used to make his own drugs.
Oh, jeez.
Oh.
Back in them days, you made you mixed the drugs. Somebody comes in and wanted something, you mix
Yeah,
that.
sure. Mortar and pestle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
had
right.
all kinds of stuff. They mixed the drugs.
Yeah.
John Kane owned it. And
What
then
was
it
the store's
Romeo's and then it was Romeo's liquor store.
Right, I remember that. Yeah.
You went there a lot, huh, Deb?
Oh, yes. Yes, frequented
Yeah,
there.
she's a.
And now it's a house.
Right. And across the street on Water Street,
At
Next-
the end,
before you go around the corner, you got the inn, and next door, was that the post office?
right on the corner of Cannon Street and the walk
Water-
was the post office was downstairs.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid, we used to meet, before it was the post office, was an empty hall, Boy Scouts.
Oh,
But there was a post office there. And then it moved up to Church Street. Next to, I don't know, Mr. Terrell used to live across the street there. Washburn's lived. By Jody's barber
barber
shop, a couple of houses, that little,
Yep, yep.
that was the post office at the end.
Oh, okay.
Before where it is now.
Okay.
Across from where the Congregational Church Hall is
Yep.
now. There used to be a store, was it the A&P?
Oh.
A&P, back in them days, that was a big supermarket,
Yeah.
A&P. and that's where there was the grocery store,
Yep.
and right next to it was the telephone office.
Oh, I remember
Yes.
that.
And you would
yeah.
ring up and say, I want so and so, and says, oh, that has no sense. What you go? She just got on the bus to go to New Bedford.
They knew everything.
Viola Winslow, that was her name, was the operator.
Operator.
Yeah. And her husband owned a boat repairing place right near the Congregational Church. The lot's empty now. It belongs to Bruce Rose.
Oh yeah, I know what
Those
you
two
mean.
lots.
Yeah,
Right across
yeah,
the church
yeah,
from
I
the
know what you mean.
Congregational Church.
yeah, yeah,
It's empty.
yeah.
And right next door is a house. That's where the EMP was.
Oh,
And next to that was a little place, and that's where the telephone office was.
oh, okay.
Oh.
Oh God.
I ride around town and think of all the things that used to be in
Yeah.
here, and how now it's something different, or a bunch of houses.
Yeah,
or-
and they make them so big that they're so close to each other.
Yeah.
and you go right around. It used to be a big field here. Now there's all kinds of houses.
Yeah.
Did your father used to get groceries? How did your mother get groceries? You'd have to go get them. Well, they probably had delivery back then too.
No, we went to. We lived all in town, most right in the Mattapoisett.
Oh, there was that
And then
market.
Sylvia's Market.
Grocery stores, Sylvia's Market, and I can remember going there and getting things, and you put it on the bill.
Uh-huh.
And my father or my mother would give me a quarter or 50 cents. You give that to Mr. Sylvia, who owned the store. 50 cents put on the bill.
Yeah.
Put the 50 cents on the bill. But you'd go there, you would give the guy that worked there the list. He'd go and get the stuff
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
and put it on the counter and bag it.
Yeah.
And we always lived in the middle of the town here.
Yeah.
We never lived
the
way
street,
out
he's
like
lived
we
on
do
it.
now.
Yeah.
And we used to bag, of course, in a bag, bring it home.
Yeah.
But I can remember giving me 50 cents or a quarter. You give this to Mr. Sylvia
That's
or
where Jack
Mr.
DeCosta
Souza,
worked.
who works
Oh,
there.
did he?
Or his grandpa.
Put on
Yeah.
the bill.
Well, did you ever have
25
muffins?
cents, can you
Yeah, I
imagine that?
Did you ever?
Times and how things have changed. And it's amazing.
Well, you don't ask that.
I don't
lived up
think.
there.
Yeah, my grandmother lived in Worcester. She never drove. She just took city buses wherever.
But I
And I
think.
don't think her
How
father
did she
drove.
get her groceries home? Did she?
Yeah,
On
he
the bus.
drove.
Did
On
she,
the bus.
Did she,
Her
it was
husband.
uphill. There were
Grant
big
me.
hills to get back.
Loretta's mother, you mean?
No, her father. Did her father drive?
If you had to
Her
ride your
father
bike,
was,
we went the long way, so you
He
didn't have
drove
to hit the
the
hills.
fire
Oh
chief,
yeah, the fire chief. Yeah,
fire chief in Worcester around.
yeah.
Yeah, he was a fireman, and he drove the chief around. Of course, if you're a chief, you can't drive. Or 10 cents, I do this and now they want somebody mow your lawn, 50 or $100. You're like,
Yeah.
a week?
Yeah.
You kidding me?
Brandon, our oldest, used to go up and down the street, and he would tell the neighbors, because we lived on a hill, and so all your driveways were pretty much a hill. And he'd say, I will come and I will bring your trash up every week, all your trash cans for 25 cents. And so he had a bunch of them that said yes, and he goes, and whatever I make, my parents are going to match, and I want to buy a bike.
Yeah.
So he did that for a long time, and then he went and bought a bike, and he rode it around to the neighbors and said, I just want to thank you. Here was
Oh
my bike.
wow, that's cool.
I had a friend that had a skinny tire bike. When they came out with the balloon tire bikes, he was selling it, and for $5. And I begged my father for $5 to buy that. No way. That was too much money. But one morning I got up, and on the kitchen table was a $5 bill. No letter, no nothing, but I knew what it was for. So I gave the kid the $5 bill, and I got the bike, the skinny tire bike, because he bought a balloon tire bike. That was a big thing, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Oh boy.
Up, like working in, like he'd pick grapes.
Yeah.
He worked in the farms with the Mexicans and the Filipinos.
My grandmother had a grapevine in her yard. We used to go as kids and pick them and eat them. Oh, God, that was good. A luxury. And I can remember in the wintertime, when it snowed, the town had a big V plow. And my father, who was a big, heavy man, stood on the front of that plow, holding on to the, to keep the front end down, so that when they went up and down the road, you know.
Oh my God.
Oh,
I can remember seeing him do that. Going down Pearl Street.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, where my grandmother lived. Yeah.
oh my gosh.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
For all the years, my father never had a car. There's
yeah.
always somebody picked him up. And he finally, this guy that worked for the company that he worked for, Revere, the salesman, had a 42 Ford coupe, club coupe, that had 2 doors with a little seat in the back. And my father finally bought it. And I came home from the Coast Guard. I was in the Coast Guard at that time. And I borrowed a truck and I smashed it up.
Oh.
And I just came home,
Oh.
started putting my other clothes on, and my mother woke up and said, "What are you doing?" And I told her what happened.
Oh.
And he finally woke up my father. My mother and father never slept in the same room. Well, they did sometimes.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, Grandma's room was off the kitchen.
yeah, right.
Yep.
And I was getting ready to go back because I smashed up the car. I didn't want to tell my father. But I can remember it costing me, what was it, $187 or something like that to get it fixed at Maury DeCoff.
Oh, Maurice, yeah.
Yeah. Get the car fixed there. I broke my father's heart.
Oh.
But the thing is, I wasn't drunk, but I used to, come home, you week, that's what you did the weekends. But I went around a corner, and I went around too long. They had a tree stump that was out in the middle of the road, and I cut it off, and I took the corner too wide, and I hit that and smashed the side of the car. And I can remember having to pay for that. Broke my father's heart.
Goodness gracious.
But anyway,
Good. Oh, things that we did.
yeah.
Well, my mom didn't drive.
Was I in trouble?
Oh, yeah.
Tell them about the time you were playing football and your father came and got you because you didn't do the potatoes or the weeding.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We had a garden at a certain place. Well, in fact, that's almost where my son is living now. And we had a garden, and he told me before he went to work to go up and hoe the rows of vegetables. Potatoes, I think it was. I'm not sure. But anyway. But I went up there and just threw
To pick the
dirt
weeds.
a lot on the weeds so that you couldn't see them, and it looked like then go play football down with the guys. We had a pickup team that we used to play. My father come home from work and always stopped at the garden, and he saw that. He come down, boy, he got me right off the football field. Boy, get there. That's what he called me, boy.
That's what.
Boy,
That's what my
right
dad
back up
calls
there,
Harper.
right back up there and do that garden.
That's what my dad was for, boy.
Couldn't get
Boy,
away
oh, yeah.
with nothing, boy. I tell
Yeah.
you. Couldn't get away with nothing.
What